Well, let's get you out of this sales slump. If you are feeling like you're just in a slow season, or maybe you're pivoting in your coaching business right now, or you're putting out a new course, so you're kind of in this creation mode, so you feel like you're just in a little bit of a slump and you're not generating any sales, then this video is for you. And I'm gonna show you 7 steps that you can take to really shift out of your sales slump and start slaying like David when it comes to your sales. So let's dive in. In case you're wondering who the heck I am, I'm Jen Johnson. I'm an online business development strategist, and I help coaches and course creators learn how to create, market, and sell with ease and authenticity. So if that's you, be sure to subscribe while you're here. Turn on your notifications so we can do this on the weekly. Look, I get it. Nothing could be more frustrating than creating a program, creating a course, something you're so excited about that you really love, and being able to own your own business and do something you want to do, but then nobody's buying. I get it. That can be very, very frustrating. I've been there. Like, we all go through these things. So first and foremost, I do want to preface and remind you that you are in the world of the digital marketing space, being your own boss, being your own business owner. And it can go like this. Like, it's never just always like this. Even when you start making a ton of money, you're still gonna have those dips. They may not affect you as much as they are right now if you're in that space where you're just like, I need a sale, which, by the way, if you're in that space where you just are ready to enroll a client, I did do a video on that just a couple of weeks ago. So you can check that out over here. I will put it for you, and you can just learn, like, I just need to get that one first client. Maybe you're in that space, and that's okay. Be okay with where you're at. That's the first and foremost. Like, just accept where you are so that you can have fun on the journey. And that was actually a bonus step. So let's dive into the actual steps. Here's the first thing. Let's do an intentions check. Are the actions that you're taking intentional towards generating sales, generating clients, bringing on new people into your program? You want to make sure all the action that you're taking is actually relevant and in congruency to the actual results that you're looking to get. So here's the thing that you might not like. You have to eliminate the busy work, getting on Canva and making graphics and doing all of the busy things that feel like work, but it's not actually producing anything. Yes, that includes scrolling on social media all day long. If you're not intentional about why you're doing that, and you're not doing that for the purpose of actually connecting with clients, then you're just being busy. Now, I actually did do another video on the differences between being busy versus productive. I'll stick that over here for you too, so you can go watch that after this video. But it's important that you really start to get intentional and think about, are the actions that I'm taking actually actions that would lead to generating new clients and sales? And what are those actions? You know what I'm about to tell you. It's conversations. It's getting onto follow-ups with people that you've talked to already. It's making offers. It's promotion. It's putting yourself in front of people and inviting them to your actual offer, be it one-on-one, be it through a virtual event, whatever that looks like. But those are the activities that you want to be in. And if you find yourself being very uncomfortable with those activities, I'm going to invite you to work your way out of that uncomfortable thought and really stepping into that intentional action, because that is what is going to produce the result. Now, this second step is so huge, and it can really be a game changer in your habits, in your performance, and how you show up on a daily basis. And that is ultimately deciding to commit to the actions you're going to take, not based on results, but based on the commitment to the action. Okay, so it's committed action versus focusing on the result. And what that really looks like for a lot of people is coaches and course creators won't necessarily show up and do the work because they're not getting the result. But that's backwards. You're not getting the result because you're not taking the committed action. So what you get to do is unhook from the result, unhook from what it's supposed to look like, or the result that you think you're supposed to instantly get when you take a step or a piece of action. Ultimately thinking, let's take YouTube for example, you might think, gosh, I don't have 1 million subscribers, or I don't have this and that going on my YouTube channel, but you're not committed to actually showing up here on the weekly or making videos consistently. So therefore, that's not going to take place. So whatever you want, you have to understand that you get to commit to taking the action that would produce that result long before that result's going to show up. And for you, that might look like, I don't have any clients, but I'm not talking to anybody. Nobody is getting onto my email list, but I'm not inviting anybody to my email list. It could be, my challenge isn't filling up, but you're not promoting your challenge. So think about what it is that you really want. And again, go back to your intentions. Am I taking that proper action? And am I being committed to it regardless of the result? Because you need to build momentum. And it takes more than doing something more than one time to actually sometimes produce the result. I look at my YouTube channel here. I remember it took forever to get my first 1,000 subscribers. I remember it took forever to get my first 100 followers on Instagram. It was way easier to start getting the 200, the 300, and growing from there. It was way easier to get 3,000 subscribers on YouTube than it was to get the first 1,000, but it took me doing the work anyway. Just like going to the gym, you get to go to the gym and continue to do it because you're committed to moving your body versus being committed to wanting to lose 20 pounds. Your body's will do what it's supposed to do when you commit to moving it, when you commit to showing up regardless. If you make the goal based off of, I'm gonna go to the gym and lose 10 pounds, and in 2 weeks you don't lose that 10 pounds, you're gonna quit because your intention was to lose the weight, not to move your body. So that's just another example of how you wanna start operating in your business and in your life, essentially, is through what you're committed to, not like because you're trying to get something out of it. Remember, you're doing something that you actually love doing, so it shouldn't feel like work. It should feel exciting. It should feel like you're in your creative space. You're in your zone of genius. So this shouldn't feel heavy to take this committed action. If it does, you want to take a look at what it is that you're doing. You may not really be wanting to do that in the first place, and that's what's keeping the clients at bay. And remember, where you are right now is a result of the action you have taken over the past 60 to 90 days. So really think about that. You can change the trajectory of your next 60 to 90 days by changing up your commitments and the actions you take. I kind of touched on this step, but it bears repeating. Step 3 is to get out of your head and get into conversations. I've had so many conversations with people where they're just so in their head about talking to people or like how to do that. Be a human. Go start a very normal conversation and let that flow. Let that lead somewhere. But make sure you're starting that conversation with someone who you potentially want to work with as a client. That's how you can really start to let the conversation blossom and ask questions and all of those things. But if you have an empty calendar, that typically leads to an empty bank account. It leads to profits not showing up in your business, and it also leads to not working with clients that you know you could serve an impact. So at the end of the day, you want to be in conversations. I will repeat this and you'll probably hear it on a lot of my videos. The fastest way to clients is conversations. Out of every strategy I have ever done, the fastest way for me to enroll a high ticket client or work with a new client is going to be through getting into a conversation with them. Can you do this in the DMs and avoid personal conversation? Some people do. I'm not a fan. I am all about human experience, human interaction, and I find it much more personalized and much more connected to be able to actually enroll someone into something, their vision, and then seeing if my program would be a fit for them by getting into a real conversation. So if you're resistant to these processes and you're in sales, let me just tell you, what you resist will persist. If you continue to resist getting into conversations, you're going to continue pushing away sales, because the fastest way to clients and cash is conversations. So really start to work yourself through these processes. And honestly, the best way to do it is to do it. You know, the best way to break out of your comfort zone is to just do things uncomfortable. And you can kick and scream the whole way through, but I encourage you to do it, because when you really lean into it, you're gonna break through a lot of what your ego's been telling you and what it's been lying to you about. And it's not really as scary as our brain likes to make us think that it is. So Ultimately, it's gonna take you being willing. You're able to do it. You are capable of going out there and having a conversation. I know you are, because you do it on a daily basis. Now you're just shifting it towards an intentional conversation. So you are capable. The question is, are you willing? So let's make a commitment right here, right now. Comment below, how many conversations are you committed to starting on a daily or weekly basis? Drop that in the comments below. I would love to support you. And when you declare it, you create some accountability. Now, almost always when I tell people that, they think, but where do I find people to talk to? Which is exactly why I created a guide that's 35 ideas and strategies to go out and find your dream clients, meaning get yourself in front of them. Because the bottom line is there's a lot of people that you can serve, but there's one of you. You're the needle in the haystack that your client is looking for. So I want to invite you to download this guide. I'll put the description below and the link here so you can snag it and go through it and find 2 or 3 strategies that you can implement immediately to start getting in front of your dream clients so they know you exist and they can start to consume your content and you can start leading them towards your offers. Now, this 4th step is huge as well. You want to get out of reactive mode. We are conditioned in the social media world to react to everything, to every notification, to every ad, to every email. We are just reacting to what's popping up. When you get on Instagram, you're reacting to what's on the Discover page or what's in your feed. When you're on Facebook, you're reacting to the feed, you're reacting to ads, you're reacting to all of those things. So ultimately, you want to get out of being reactive and again, getting into being intentional and responding to people you actually want to be in conversation with. So this is a habit that you do probably unconsciously at this point, where you just grab your phone and you start scrolling. And so what I want to invite you to do is start setting up new habits that are going to help you get out of that reactive mode and actually think, okay, I'm getting on social media right now because I'm actually going to go do X. I'm gonna go start 3 conversations. I'm gonna go connect with 10 new people. I'm gonna go write to my email list or whatever it looks like for you. But it's going to be something that's purposeful, that's going to move the needle rather than just that unconscious, habitual way of showing up. And then thinking when your head hits the pillow at the end of the day, you didn't really get much done, even though you were busy. So I'm gonna encourage you to start shifting from reaction to responding to who it is you wanna be in connection with to enroll as a client. Step 5 is so powerful. If you can do this and just commit to doing this, I know people know this, but I want you to commit to it. It's visualization. I want you to start visualizing you doing the work that you know you get to do. You already know what you should be doing. But if you start visualizing yourself doing it, like laying in bed the night before, just visualizing what the next day is going to be like and how you're going to show up, and it could be detailed. What are you going to wear? How are you, what's your morning going to look like? And really start visualizing yourself getting into these activities because your brain starts looking for that, okay? Our brains are wired for survival, not for prosperity. But the problem is that we constantly start looking for things that we don't want. But our mind doesn't know the difference between a want and a don't want. So it will just continue to create a ripple effect. This is something called our reticular activating system. When you start visualizing, your brain starts looking for evidence of that thing. So if you're visualizing bad things that you don't want, your brain starts looking for it, going, see, I told you. So if you just, for example, say, oh, I'm having such a bad day. This happened, which was really just a bad moment. But what happens is your brain starts looking for evidence as to why it's a bad day. So you go, see, there it is again, and this is happening again. And you want to start shifting into the things that you want, the things that you desire. We have an amazing thing called an imagination, but you want to use it for the positive that you want to create in your life, not the negative that continues to show up because of the fact that you're more than likely focusing on the things that you don't want. And something so simple that I do the night before is I'll pull out the notes on my phone and I'll just put the date for the next day and I'll write like a tiny little checklist of the few things that I want to get accomplished and then really sit in visualization of that stuff actually being accomplished. Feel the feelings of it being done. When you can get into the feeling of accomplishing it before it's accomplished, it's gold, okay? I really encourage you to apply what I'm saying here because it will make such a difference for you creating shifts towards the things that you want, which is clients. Step 6, take time to sharpen your axe. What skills do you need right now to elevate? Where are you falling short in the sales process when you're talking to clients? Are you maybe having a hard time when it comes to handling objections? Are you having a hard time getting into conversations? Are you having a hard time following up? Where is it falling flat for you? And go figure out how to get better at that piece. There's so many little elements to sales. There's so many little elements to conversations that you want to sharpen your axe and really get good at these things. So you might want to sit down and look at some tutorials or, other YouTube videos or a course or a program like Profit Performance Mastery, my actual program where I teach you how to do all this stuff in detail. So do you need to invest in something to help you get better at it? The worst strategy is I'm going to figure it out on my own strategy a lot of times because you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And it's in the not knowing, the area that you don't know, where you can create so much breakthrough, because if you already knew it, you would have broke through it already. So it's important to really take the time during a sales slump, since it is a slower season, to sharpen the axe and really develop your skill set in the specific area where you feel like it would help elevate your business. And something that will help you tremendously really figure out where you're falling short is if you record your conversations. If you get on a Zoom and you're doing a one-on-one conversation with somebody, and let them know and say, hey, I'd love to record this. It's just for my purposes only, to be able to reference if needed. And more than likely, they're going to give you permission to do that. And record the calls so you can actually go back and watch and see, where did this fall short? If there's someone that had to think about it, if there's someone that, is just objecting one thing after the other, you can go watch that whole thing back and really kind of see where it started to derail, and audit yourself, edit yourself and just see where the gap is coming up, so you know where to focus on actually sharpening your axe. One more step for you, but then I'm going to dig into the mindset minute, where I talk to you more around your mindset to help you shift any areas that might be preventing you from really generating new clients and why you might actually be in this sales slump in the first place. So number 7 is going to really be evaluating, are you hanging out in the areas where your clients are actually hanging out? A lot of times it's easy to want to jump on particular platforms because they're cool or they're trending and that's where everybody is, but are your clients there? Are the people that would benefit from what you have to offer, are they actually hanging out on that platform? And really focus spending more time connecting and getting into conversations where they're actually hanging out. That doesn't mean you can't post on other platforms. I post on all like a lot of platforms. But at the end of the day, where are you able to get into the best conversations? A lot of times for me, I find hanging out in other people's Facebook groups is a great way to be able to get into conversations with people that I know would benefit from what I have to offer, because they're in a very specific group that I know that they would want what I have to offer. So it's a targeted community that allows you to not go in there and pitch and all of that kind of stuff, but just connect and meet new people and let them know you exist. And now you know they exist, and you can start forming those relationships. So it's time for the Mindset Minute, and I want to dive in 60 seconds and tell you the one thing that you really want to focus on if you want to get out of a sales slump is getting connected to your offer. And what I mean by that is getting very intimate and understanding how it solves a problem for your clients, and you fully 1000% believing in the core of every fiber of your being that it's something that's going to benefit people. Because if you don't believe in your offer, nobody's buying it. If you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it. And so sometimes it's very important to go back and recap and review and just last week, I was looking through some of the videos in my program. I'm like, wow, I said that? Or like, oh, wow, that's like really good. I totally forgot about that video. And just reminding yourself how valuable your offer is and what you bring to the table and what it's gonna do for people. And sometimes even from doing that, it'll help spark content ideas on the front end that you can go out and produce to really attract people to what it is that you have to offer. So get connected to what it is that you've created and really fall in love with it, build your confidence around it, because that is going to make all the difference in the world. So now it's time for you to take action. Comment below, what is the first thing that you're going to do out of these 7 steps to get yourself out of this sales slump and into a season of slaying your sales and bringing on new clients that you know that you can serve and create impact for. Remember, you can always download my guide, the 35 ideas and strategies to go out there and find your dream clients. Do not be afraid to get proactive. It is so important. I know that so many people think, oh, I'm just gonna post and ghost and sit and wait for people to show up in my inbox. If that's not happening, go seek them out and get in front of them. They're waiting for your program. They're waiting for you to show up and share with them how you can help them create that transformation. So until next time, I will see you next week. God bless, keep the faith, impact the world, and I'll see you soon.